We live in a 75 townhouse unit complex with multi-car families and work vehicles. We have received a breach notice in relation to parking our car in visitor parking and on common property roadways. There are no car parks in our complex for owners other than designated garages. Our garage is quite small and our car will not fit. Our driveway outside our garage is very short and only fits a very small compact car like a Mini, not our car. The complex is in a small cul-de-sac which caters for around 4 cars to park on the road, but these parks are usually already taken by the time we arrive home from work. What are our options? Can we request special approval from the Body Corporate Committee to use a visitor park? If there is nowhere to legally park our car, then we either have to sell our car and purchase a small mini car or sell the townhouse and move.
Okay, well, first of all, I've hardly ever managed a scheme that hasn't had parking issues to some degree or another. There must be more cars than there are parking spots, I would guess. So, you know, parking is a constant thorn in a lot of people's sides. But it's also a case that the Body Corporate can't just increase the number of car parking spaces, or it can't make car parking spaces bigger or garages bigger or anything like this. So there's very limited capacity for a Body Corporate to take action. In this case, the owner's asking is saying that their unit doesn't really have a large enough space for the size of vehicle that they want, and as a result, they're looking at maybe they would have to buy a smaller vehicle or move house. I mean, the answers to that is kind of yes. Unfortunately, you know, we all have to make compromised decisions in our life about how we live, and it might be the case that you would have to buy a smaller vehicle, or if the property really doesn't suit your lifestyle, you might have to, you know, look at changing that. They ask, can we request special approval from the Body Corporate Committee to use a visitor's car park? You can certainly request it, but I couldn't really imagine many circumstances in which the answer would be yes, because you've got 75 townhouses here. Presumably everyone would like to have an extra car parking space or a bigger car parking space, and the Body Corporate's not able to provide that kind of service to everyone. So it's very difficult to see how the answer, you know, how that type of request could be accommodated. Behind that kind of request, I guess what the person's asking is, can I have more utility than some of the other users at the site? That's really what they're asking. Can I have something more than what I've actually paid for? And in that type of situation, the answer is almost always no, I'm afraid. You have to accept what it is that you've bought into and what its limitations are, and you have to accept that other people just can't change those very easily for you. So that sounds like a bit of a tough answer, I suppose, but it's about being realistic in terms of what's possible.
Okay, and it really comes down to majority rule, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's majority rule. So I mean, you know, technically, it might be possible for the committee or the owners corporation to give that one person the extra space, but I can't imagine that there would be a lot of happiness coming out of it, because if I lived in that building, I might be saying, oh, well, I'd like an extra space too, please, and then my neighbour would say the same thing. So, you know, where are you going to get to with that kind of conversation? I don't think the committee or the wider Body Corporate can really entertain an application like that unless there's very exceptional circumstances. I mean, what I might say is I've been involved in buildings where I have seen like short-term accommodation given to people who've used a visitor's parking space. Just from personal example, you know, we had someone who had an operation, had difficulty walking, and then there was various reasons why they were given access to one of the visitor spots, but it was about 3 months or so. Okay, this is an exceptional circumstance, limited amount of time, and there's compassionate grounds for providing that kind of exception. But unless you've got some kind of real concrete reason like that, I can't see a reason why you would give an individual, why would you give one not only greater utility